Hey guys, yeah, I know I talked about this a lot, but you know what? It's still worth talking about. This whole situation with, the Lonely Island Boys and Disney, those behind the movie doing the whole Gadget zipper thing. And as I've said before, all you have to do is look at it as either an alternate reality where, it's not the prime universe of Rescue Rangers, which a lot of people consider is the original show that ran from 89 to 92, nor is it, well, not that, but basically, hold on for a second. Like I said, you just have to think of it like an alternate reality universe, not set in the prime universe of the show, the OG show that, as I mentioned, we fans that grew up on it ran originally from 89 to 92. You can't, you have to basically look at, what's, the timeline and the reality as being, a different universe, a different multiverse, if you will. Another way you have to look at it, as I've mentioned before, is, it's not connected to anything. It's just an OG original movie for Disney Plus that's new, it's fresh, and like I said, has, no true connection whatsoever to any established Disney franchise that we know of. So when it comes to the Gadget zipper deal, that's how you have to view it. That's how you have to view it. But you also have to look at it from the perspective of maybe the people behind it. Like, who's to say that crew behind the Lonely Island Boy crew and others, from Disney that were part of it, who's to say, they like us didn't grow up on the show, or when they did catch up with the show and everything, that they didn't have that same question, go through their heads, like who would she end up with? And knowing that they had this premise on the horizon for, the movie, they probably figured, well, that's what they would expect with the show. But, with this premise, basically saying, hey, it's taking place within, hold on. Like I said, they probably thought to, okay, let me kind of rewind. All right. They, probably were fans growing up themselves. Not saying that's true, just speculation. But they probably thought to themselves, well, we were always wondering, just like all the other fans out there, who she would end up with, whether it be Chip or Dale. And then when they came up with the premise that they did for the film, they're like, well, that's what we were wondering when it comes to the show. But since we have this premise where it's a show within a show, and everything, what if we turned it on its ear and said, hey, in the show, yeah, she has a decision to make whether it's going to be Chip or Dale, or she's just going to be single. But outside the show, she could be with someone you would least expect. And who more least to expect than being Zipper, if you know what I mean. Anyway, and there goes my voice right there. But anyway, who least to expect than him? So that's probably why they decided to go with it, knowing that they had the premise that they did, and they probably realized, hey, within the show that we're basing this on, yeah, she would have to choose between either Chip or Dale eventually, or just decide to be single. But offset, outside of the show, she can be, maybe with someone nobody would expect. And like I said, who more least to expect than Zipper? That's probably how they looked at it. That's probably how they viewed it. But again, when you look at this whole Gadget Zipper situation, you just got to look at basically the people who were behind it. the premise that they, utilize to tell the story and everything, and go from there. Just go from there. Hold on. Like I said, just go from there because, again, you have to look at the fact that, as I've mentioned before, and anybody else has said it, this is a satire, this is a commentary, this is a comedy, a parody at times. It's supposed to be a more modern spiritual successor to Roger Rabbit. And, how can you, do that kind of a story, if you will, if you want to try to base it within the realm of the Prime versus Rescue Rangers, which a lot of people would look at this as being, as I mentioned, an alternate universe. So, to me, I don't take any issue with it. I think it's a great joke. I think it's a nice little troll job, if you will. Kind of like, kind of trolling in a friendly manner. Not mean-spirited, but a friendly manner. The fact that, we as fans would always speculate, okay, is it going to be Chip? Is it going to be Dale and stuff? We were always speculating that. And here, we get something completely out of left field, something that we would not expect. That being Zipper being the choice. But again, the premise pretty much, allows it to happen. And like I've said before, you could have had it, had this movie feature or be based around, Tailspin, the Tailspin show. And on set, in the series, a lot of people expect Baloo and Rebecca, but offset, behind the scenes, it could be revealed that Rebecca ends up with Kit. Who knows? Same with Gummy Bears. They could have used this premise, with Gummy Bears, and basically, had it to where Cubby ends up with Sunny behind the scenes. Like, on the show, they're looked at as siblings and everything, or sibling-like, but behind the scenes, they could have ended up hooking up, they could have ended up hooking up behind the scenes, especially when they got older. You see what I'm saying? Oh, sorry, my finger went in front of the camera there. But you see what I'm talking about? You looked at it from that perspective. You could look at it from that kind of perspective that it wouldn't have mattered, as I said before in other videos, what Disney Afternoon show was used. It wouldn't have mattered because of the fact that they probably would have done something similar, with who you would expect to be together, but then turn it on its head. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, Gummy Bears, people think, oh, Cubby and Sunny are too sibling-like in the show. There's no way they would be together. And yet, here you go, behind the scenes of a movie like this, and it's like, holy crap, they got together. You can never tell. Heck, if you wanted to even add to that, you could say something along the lines of, Gusto Gummy got together with Ursa Barbic behind the scenes, even though there was no indication of that on the show. And so on and so forth. When it comes to any Disney Afternoon property, that they could have chose from besides Rescue Rangers. But yeah, it again, like I said, just to, add to what I and others have said before here on YouTube and, through social media and several fan sites and everything like the Acorn Cafe and ChippendaleOnline.com, just to add to it, it's not that big of an issue when you look at it from the perspective of an alternate universe, or it's, an OG Disney Plus film not based and connected to anything, whatsoever. That's how you have to view it. That's how you have to, kind of view it and everything. Or if you do want to base it and view it on, it being, about Rescue Rangers, adapted from Rescue Rangers, then all you have to do is just look at the premise that's being utilized and say, okay, it's based on Rescue Rangers, but the premise they're using, takes the Rescue Rangers outside of the comfort zone we're used to seeing, and, that's why they're going in this direction. Because it's a different take on them, basically. It's a different take, it's a different premise, that they're being put into for the time being. And it's basically kind of like a one-shot deal. It's a one-shot situation. It's kind of like with fan fiction stories sometimes, especially some of those fan fiction stories of the erotic NFSW kind. People will look at them and say, okay, these are one-shot deals, which they potentially could be. And they'll even put in parentheses, they are. Because afterwards, they're not dealt with anymore unless somebody else requests a story involving the same kind of characters in a similar situation. But that's about it. But that's about it, because most of the time, the person that requests it might be told by the person that's writing the story, or they're asking to write the story. The person that's asking to write the story might say, hey, I already did that couple. Can you think of somebody else? And they would have to do that. So, again, you can look at it that way too. That's a one-shot deal. That it's a movie based on Rescue Rangers. It's a love letter, comedic satire, commentary love letter to nostalgic childhood of the 80s, 90s, and 2000s and all that. Of animation, and more so. And it's a commentary on the evolution of animation and other things as well, as I've mentioned before. And you just, you take that all into consideration. You say, okay, it's a one-shot deal. Afterwards, we won't have to worry about it because it'll have nothing to do with Rescue Rangers going forward. And that's about it. It's just a one-shot deal. Heck, if you want to, you could even say to yourself, maybe we'll find out in a bonus scene in the upcoming Blu-ray and 4K release, because there's going to be one, and maybe be added additionally later on in Disney Plus as part of the extras. Maybe we'll get a bonus scene where Dale wakes up and it's all a dream, and that's it. And he mentions, oh, by the way, Zipper, you ended up with Gadget, and they just look at each other disgustedly like, I ended up with you, in the dream. Or Gadget, or Chip could be like, man, what kind of weird dream did you have? Well, stuff like that. Anyway, though, guys, I just wanted to come on here and just do, do another video on the situation and just kind of give more thoughts on it. And like I said, just once again let you know that all you have to do is look at it from either an OG Disney Plus film perspective that's not connected to anything. Look at it as an alternate universe kind of thing, not having anything to do with the prime Rescue Ranger universe in which the original show is based in. Or even third, just look at it as something that's, adapted, or loosely adapted and based on Rescue Rangers, but with a premise that's a one-shot deal. Like, it's just a one-shot deal, that's said and done. And as it moves forward with the potential to get more Ranger material out there, you don't have to worry about any influence from this film being put on that material because it was a one shot. But let me know what your thoughts are, guys, down below. Comment if you like. I'm going to try to relax here a little bit. I just got home. It's about 6:11 p.m. Pacific time. So yeah, I'm just going to relax a little bit, guys. And until next time, I will talk to you all later. Peace. God bless. Oh, and let me know what your thoughts are in the live chat and in the comments. Super chats, super stickers are open during the live chat of the premiere. And the super thanks button will be enabled after the premiere. But let me know what your thoughts are, guys. I'm out.